like we are actually quite behind in a lot of those trends compared to other parts of the world, like South America, Asia, maybe even parts of Europe. Like they're so much more advanced. And
What's interesting is that here they won't stack treatments. Like there, they will give you Botox, filler, lasers, Ulthera, everything. But if you're going to come into the skincare space, hire a scientist. This is science.
What do you wish, brands and influencers were more honest about?
And I think what's fascinating is like people rave about Korean beauty. And like, don't get me wrong, I love Korean skincare, but
It's amazing. Which laser do you do?
so I did Halo last January and I was trying to do it this year, but I don't have the time for the downtime because I had rosacea flare. People don't believe me when I say I have rosacea, including my derm. And then when he saw what happened, he was like, "You have rosacea." I'm like, "I know." I have it really under control. And so I had a full breakout, but not from cell turnover. It was just like my skin was, but then the glow. So I did Halo 2 years ago and then I went to Seoul and they stacked a bunch of lasers. I can't even tell you what they did to my face.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
but I want to do that. I want to do the thing where they just stack a bunch of procedures on you.
Yeah.
I wish
Did
they
you
did that in
like
the
those
US.
treatments? I'm so curious because next time I go, I want to do the same, Mamina.
Yeah.
It's like you get all your derm
did.
appointments done in one day and you come out looking amazing is the word on the street.
It's very gentle, but I think what's interesting is that here they won't stack treatments. Like there, they will give you Botox, filler, lasers, Ulthera, everything. But the order in which you do it is actually like what's timed out. But they'll do everything to you in one treatment. Whereas like here, it's like I have to go to the derm every time I want something different, which means then it just racks up the cost. And I think that's actually how they get the cost so low, is that they're doing everything at once and they do it very quickly.
Yeah. Well, also there's a lot of competition is my understanding too. But it's so interesting because this reminds me, in Monaco, Mamina, I feel like we are actually quite behind in a lot of those trends compared to other parts of the world, like South America, Asia, maybe even parts of Europe. Like they're so much more advanced in using the ingredients, obviously sunscreen filters, the technology, and what people get and what's done.
And I think
So
what's fascinating is like people rave about Korean beauty. And like, don't get me wrong, I love Korean skincare, but the products that are more reasonably priced, like they don't have that many active ingredients. They do a lot of something that's called dusting. And so for me, when I'm using Korean skincare, it's really for like moisturization, hydration.
Yeah.
It's not for any histological changes, but they get so many cosmetic treatments. They don't need the heavy hitters like we do.
Yeah.
And so
that's totally.
that's why.
That's like the concept of,
I just love hearing that. Thank you. Because that's how I feel too, is I love Korean skincare too, but I don't go to them if I want to actually treat some issues. Like when you look at even their acne treatments, what's available, it's like there's really no actives. But it is in part supporting your skin barrier with the moisturizer, maybe the hydration component, the sunscreen. But yeah, you are so right. If they're lowering concentration. So it's more just the skin hydration, which is obviously really important too.
Or if like you're 20 and you don't need anything, like you don't like, you just want to do like, very light levels of things. But like when you're in like your like later 30s, people are like, oh, what's a great retinol? And I'm like, Iope has an amazing retinol, but it's $120. Like it's not cheap. Yeah. And that concept that all Korean skincare is cheap. I'm like, no, some of it's extremely expensive and it's great, but it's like SkinCeuticals level.
Have you tried the Regeran, the Pediarin serum?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
It's on our list.
It's on the list.
But yeah, speaking of the US being behind and other countries having it more together, I know you've been like super vocal about like transparency, regulation. So in terms of just brands in general, I guess probably more so US, like what do you wish brands and influencers were more honest about? I mean, and I love how you are a good example with your brand. But yes.
I think one thing is if you don't understand something, don't talk about it. Having Joyce as a co-founder, as a cosmetic chemist was very humbling because I had a lot of opinions on like toxins and parabens. And then I met her and it's actually what made me go get my esthetician's license. Cause I was like, wait, I'm a marketer. and doing your own research to an extent can work, but then you need to talk to an expert. Like, I think it's fine to do your own research, but then you have to follow it up with somebody who's an expert for them to then question what you have researched. If you don't do that point, you're just reading in a vacuum. And so, you know, I like, one example is like, I love sunscreen. I love chemical sunscreen. I love mineral sunscreen. I hate this debate that we have about chemical sunscreen being bad. And I'm realizing that a lot of mineral sunscreen brands, without even knowing it, they are putting boosters in their sunscreens.
Yes.
And those are chemical filters that are not regulated by the FDA.
Yes.
And if you're putting it at any percentage, because the thing is, it is sold to you as an emollient, but any percent, it's the same benzene ring as octisalate. So it's the same thing. And you're just saying, if you put octisalate in your formula, it's oily. You could call it a skin conditioner, but because it's recognized by the FDA as a drug, you can't do that. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, you're saying that chemical sunscreen is endocrine disrupting, but then you're putting something that is the exact chemical equivalent into your sunscreen and then saying that you figured out mineral sunscreen. That's up. That's lying. And you don't even know it though. And I think that's where I have a lot of empathy for brands, because we're so used to in America selling you a story and branding being as important as the science.
I know,
and so
right?
my thing is I'm like, if you're going to come into the skincare space, hire a scientist. This is science. It's not a story. That's apparel. If you want to do a story, do apparel. If you want to sell a lifestyle, but skincare is different, and you need to respect the scientists that have built this technology and not red pill people into conspiratorial thinking, because that's what you're doing. You're saying, oh, the FDA is allowing, you know, brands to poison you. Meanwhile, you're also including the poison. Like, I don't even want to get into the fact that lawyers could literally come after you for literally false advertising, but that's a whole other story. Like, I'm just like sitting here and I'm like, can we just not neg? Thank you.